Hi there guys, welcome to Bull Run FX. It's for the 5th of July and it is another week and another forecast. So let's jump straight into it. Okay, the DXY. So we've had this bearish flag set up kind of for almost 2 weeks now. And it's still playing within the flag. So what can we expect for next week? Okay, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of news reports and articles being published on FX Street around coronavirus cases increasing in the United States, potential increases in the demand for the safe haven dollar. So on that basis, for next week, what can we expect? So I think we're gonna have to wait and see what happens on Monday. It's always good. Mondays, like the opening day, a little bit of volatility, uncertainty. So it would be really wise to kind of just wait and see what happens maybe in the first half of Monday until maybe New York opens, and then obviously try and see what the momentum is going to look like. But ultimately, the kind of movement that I am expecting maybe a bounce off this line here, or even this resistance zone on an interim basis, and expecting a rise right towards this zone here, and then thereafter what I'm then expecting is some sort of bullish momentum to get us towards this top trend line for that to then create that further sell setup maybe next week, not this week. I still think the movement for the dollar this week is going to be a bullish momentum if these cases continue to rise in the States and investors start moving towards the safe haven dollar. Okay, so moving towards AUDUSD. On that basis, there's been a lot of talk around the Australian dollar kind of moving a little bit differently in comparison to the DXY. There's been a lot of talk around the Aussie doing quite well and trading quite well against the dollar. So we see the fact that, although the dollar had a negative week as such, and it did move slightly negative, but even though it was quite positive in the early part of the week, we can expect that continuous. We see this consolidation happening here, even though the dollar was quite strong during this time. It didn't drop below this wedge, and then obviously we saw that Australian dollar continue to go up. So for next week, I think we would see the first half of the week kind of for the Australian dollar to continue to rise towards this level, the 0.697 level. If it doesn't break through this wedge here, which will kind of depend on the dollar and its reaction to these coronavirus cases, but ultimately the first part of the week we would see the rise towards this level, I believe, and then the further downward movement as the dollar increases in demand with regards to the safe haven status. Moving on to EURUSD, we all know this practically moves the same way, or at least opposite to what the DXY movement is. As the DXY has got that bearish flag, in the same in the opposite way, EURUSD has got this bullish flag momentum coming in play. And what can we expect over next week? So I think it's very important the fact that this will kind of, obviously we'll have to wait and see what happens on Monday and Tuesday. So I believe on Monday and Tuesday we're going to see this test of towards this level here, and then depending if the dollar remains to be strong, EURUSD, the price will come down to test this 1.09 level here, this bottom trend line, and then obviously we'll be looking for some buy setups from here in the maybe potentially midweek or even early Tuesday, and then for the remainder of the week we're looking for some buy setups for this price to kind of shoot off towards this area here. Moving on to GBPUSD. So once again, quite similar. It doesn't move exactly as closely to the DXY as EURUSD does, but we still have this bullish flag currently in momentum. Probably not as tight as the EURUSD, and obviously the tighter the flag, the bigger the break that we expect. So what can we expect here? If that dollar continues to, or at least has a strong a strong hold of the market in regards to its safe haven status, what we can expect is this price here to continue to maybe bounce off this support level or even the trend line and work its way down towards this 1.23 level. All right, here we'll find a lot of resistance in regards for like a little upwards movement to maybe this level here, right, and then the further sell over the next coming weeks. And we'll have to watch this and see how it kind of plays out. I don't expect it to reach the 1.21 level anytime soon. It will take a couple of weeks, but for the interim basis, I am probably looking for some sell setups to kind of happen roughly around here. You know, there's been a lot of talk of a lot of cities around the UK going into you know, secluded lockdowns. You know, I don't think that's going to bring any sort of confidence towards the dollar, towards the pound in any sort of way, and that's just going to assist the fall for GBPUSD in the coming weeks. Moving on to NZDUSD. So this is obviously trading quite well, and I think we're seeing that the Australian currency and the New Zealand currency were, you know, playing out quite well against the dollar in comparison to some of the European countries. So once again, you know, we have still got this little bit of wedge in play. We're going to have to wait and see what Monday happens. So I think Monday is really crucial for NZDUSD. Reason being is because it's currently been playing, or at least on Friday, it was playing, failing to break above this 0.65 level, maybe because of the NFP results that came out in favor of the dollar, and also, you know, rumors of you know, rising cases. Well, not rumors, they are rising cases in the States for coronavirus. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens on Monday, and I think it's really important, right, to see what happens on Monday. Sorry, yeah. So I think if Monday was to break this level, right, then we can see the upwards movement towards here, right. We might even have a false breakout Monday, Tuesday, to kind of capture some of you know, some people, you know, the market makers may just capture us out in some of our stop losses and the way we're moving, or the momentum's going. But ultimately, if Monday and Tuesday does break out this trend line and the support level of 0.65350, then we can see that rise towards that level here, and then obviously a potential sell. However, although for the remainder of the week, I still believe this is going to be a hard sell coming down towards this level to test this wedge once again. You know, the long-term picture is that bullish momentum as a lot of economies are recovering and investors are going to be moving away from the dollar. Dollar's going to weaken. So that is the long-term picture. But in the short term, over the next week, you know, we're going to have to wait and see what happens on Monday and Tuesday. So you've kind of got two things to do. So Monday and Tuesday, if the price kind of rises above, right, then we'll be looking for that sell setup coming in, because we can't imagine it breaking through this level here, and well, not in the interim, if cases are still increasing in the States, because investors will get scared and they will put their money back into that dollar. But if the sell starts early and it starts on Monday, Tuesday, I think that's a continuing trend for the remainder of the week. We'll have to see what happens midweek, because of the fact that in between these two levels, right, there's probably this level here, right, that's just going to be a bit of a blockage in terms of obviously a bit of a bounce here, right. But ultimately, you know, it looks like a pretty hard sell from where it is right now, if I'm honest with you. Moving on to USDCHF. So what can we expect for next week? So USDCHF is kind of playing within this bearish flag pattern of some sort. A lot of them are in these bearish flag, bullish flag patterns. Maybe, I don't know if I'm just seeing them quite often. But ultimately, it's within this wedge. And what we can expect is a continuation of a downwards trend. That is the long-term picture, and in the short-term status, that is what's happening. But over next week, I can see a retest of this support level, and obviously an upwards movement, and look for some buy setups. We will probably see some sort of consolidation happen around here, and a test of this top trend line of probably around 0.95250 level. So that's what I'm looking for in USDCHF. Moving on to USDCAD, moving slightly a little bit different, a little bit movement, as I've always said, you know, two juggernauts kind of going at each other, similar to what USDCHF is looking like. I've kind of forced this trend line in. Now that I look at it, probably not the greatest of trend lines, and I'm just going to delete it because I'm just not a big fan of it, actually, right? And I'm going to delete the top one as well. I'd rather kind of stick out an area of resistance at the top, right? We've got a kind of support level here, and then we've got this bottom support level. Now, I can't imagine the dollar to be dropping massively for the price to get to this bottom level here. Maybe Monday, Tuesday, we might see you know, a little bit of a dip, and obviously we'll be looking for some buying setups from here to go upwards towards this level here. You know, we saw the fact that over the last 3 weeks now it's been playing within this area, so there will be some sort of breakout coming soon, and I think that's primarily going to come down to which way investors are going to see, how economies across Europe reopening. It's the 4th of July. It was the 4th of July yesterday, which was obviously the kind of green light for a lot of businesses in the UK, especially to be reopening, and obviously kind of following suit to a lot of countries out there that are coming out of this lockdown and seeing their economies kind of obviously re-energized. So it'd be good to see what Canada are like and see what they do. But still, I think that USD safe haven status, because of the rising cases in America, is probably going to take over for next week, and we're going to see this play out towards this top 1.37 psychological number again. Moving on to USDJPY. Not gonna lie, just not a big fan of this pair. Like, literally, it just moves ridiculously, right? I'm just don't like trading it as much, and I don't think I traded it this week. I might have, I can't remember. But ultimately, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. We've got this top trend line, right? Even downwards are quite even creating much of a trend line, right? I don't want to force anything either. So ultimately, what are we looking? What am I expecting over next week? I think it's hard because of the fact that I can see an interim support level here, right, where we might see a bounce from this level upwards, kind of test this trend line probably around here. And I think because of the USDJPY, has a little bit of a strange relationship. They're both kind of like safe haven statuses of some sort. So, and they don't directly correlate or always correlate with DXY. So I think ultimately we're going to see this movement towards this trend line, and I'll probably be looking for some sort of sell setup coming downwards towards this level again. Is it going to reach it next week? Probably doubt it. I think it'll probably find some sort of struggle around this level here. But yeah, that's what we're looking at for USDJPY. So moving on to gold. I think gold for the last 2 weeks has been an absolute struggle to be finding some good opportunities, man, with good risk management to actually for some buys or sells in whatever setup. It broke through the 1747 respective level, kind of broke above that 1751 level as well, created a massive new high of 1786. I did say that it was going to reach towards 1800, right? I think it's this one here. So you see on June 30 actually, which is not even that long ago, it's like last week, right? June 30 here, we see the fact that I did say here there's a potential upwards movement to retest the previous high and 1800, and if you play it out, that's what we kind of saw. Right, okay, yeah, it's pretty much can't see the full picture, but we can see the high there, and I think there's somewhere here as well, where I've said long-term. Oh, that's a long-term sell. But yeah, so ultimately, once again, what are we looking for gold? I think we're gonna have to see and test this area again, and I think that's what we're gonna have see this week as well. Gonna see a retest of this area. Is 1790 the highest? Well, 1788, is that the highest it's gonna be this week? I don't know, or forever for gold. We don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. But it definitely provides the opportunities for like double tops, which will create a good opportunity. Well, good opportunities for sell. For some of you, maybe long-term sells, but with the risk management, we want to be careful. But yeah, so ultimately, I think we're going to see this rise toward the 1788 level. That 1800 level, it is very, very, very attractive. And can we see a potential breakthrough? We probably can, especially if there increased cases in coronavirus across the United States. I've not been banging on about it, but it is what it is, unfortunately. And that's just going to create more havoc, and investors are probably just going to rush more towards gold anyway. So ultimately, that is it for this week. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that. If you guys have any questions, any more things that you guys want to see from me, just let me know. Bullrun FX. Thank you very much for watching, and the website is coming soon, so stay in touch. Thank you. Bye.